Welcome, welcome. What is up, good people? It is IG Paul, and I am back with the first episode and my brand new series, unique to my channel, and I think really unique to all of YouTube. But the Great Journey Quest thingy, right? And you're all like, "What is that? What's going on? What does he talk about?" Well, we're going to cover it all here in this video, and this first episode is going to actually be titled "I Go My Own Way," and I think that's definitely fitting for what this video is going to be about and starting the series off. In this series, we're actually going to focus on farming, building, and using our favorites. We're going to try to stay in the top 250 of Arena, which means we're being competitive in PvP modes. We're going to try to beat all the game content and see at what pace we're able to do that, right? We're going to answer a lot of questions and a lot of those pondering thoughts that people, I'm sure, have had that play Marvel Strike Force. A lot of that, what if? What if I did that? What if I did this? Would it have been different? We're going to see what happens here. We're also going to be focused on, in this series, having fun in Marvel Strike Force. We're going to do it, whether it's possible or not, and we're going to see how far we can take this account while having fun, like I said, building our favorites, farming our favorites, and trying to be competitive and complete all these game modes. I'm also going to see if I'm hindrance to my alliance and raids, if I can't beat enough nodes, if I'm holding us back from 60%, if I'm staying competitive in my alliance, essentially. I want to see if I'm the worst player in raids on my alliance, as for contributing and stuff. And if I am, at which point, obviously, we would know this is completely impossible to build your favorites and stay competitive and not be a hindrance to your alliance, right? I think some of the biggest questions I've ever had is, could I build my favorites? Not follow that cookie cutter, must build this team for this content. Could I build my favorites, enjoy the game, beat it at my own pace? You know what I mean? Obviously not using one team to beat one Dark Dimension node, taking 30 attacks. That is not what we want to do with this account. What we want to do is build our favorites and see if we can actually beat it in a reasonable amount of time, move through the content as we do, and see at which point they cap out, essentially. Now, here for this first episode, we're actually going to be starting out, we're going to be focusing on my arena team, my raid team challenges, the Payday Flash event, what I'm doing, and moving forward up to level 65 through 70, as well as 75 through 80. So, before we start here, definitely subscribe. We're headed towards that 1,000. I think we just surpassed 400 in the first few months here. I would love for you to be a part of my community. I think this is very unique, and I think a lot of people are going to find this very interesting to see how I progress building, farming, using my favorites. See what walls we hit when we run out of gold and training modules. See what bottlenecks come along, and see if we're forced to build those cookie cutter teams. Because I know everybody out there has always wanted to build their favorites, but when you watch these beginner farming guides, beginner guide to the game, it always says you got to use the best in slot, the meta characters. Get this or you're going to suck. You're wasting resources building dead teams. I think this is going to be interesting because we're going to do what everybody's always wanted to do, at least I assume, is build your favorite characters, right? That's what I want to do in a video game. If you can remember back to those days when you played a video game to have fun and enjoy the character or the weapons or the class that you liked, or build that mage on, a big MMO RPG game, you want to build your favorite class in your style and do what you wanted. If you wanted to have a one-handed sword and throw fireballs, you could do that stuff, right? And enjoy the game and have fun. Well, in Marvel Strike Force, a lot of people make it, or it sounds like all you can do is build the best team out to beat the content. And that's kind of how the game's designed, and I want to see if we can break that mold. So they build new raids. They're really, really hard, and if you don't get the newest team out, you can't complete them, or it's really difficult. But the exciting thing is Marvel Strike Force has now been out, I believe, 5 years, and it's at one of those turning points where there's enough content that if I start now and do it the way I want to do it, maybe by the time we get to incursion raids, there'll be a gear tier 19 or 20 or 22 or 25, and I'll be able to build my favorites big enough, strong enough, that no matter how hard that raid is, I'm going to tear it apart. You know what I'm saying? And I want to see if that's possible. I want to answer the question if you personally can build your favorites within reason and do all that good stuff. So definitely subscribe to stay up to date. I'll be putting out videos as we make accomplishments. Who am I investing in, when, why, and how. I'm obviously going to use common sense and try to better my account to be more successful. So let's actually go ahead and dive in and cover what exactly I'm doing. So like I said, for my focus starting out, it should always be first and foremost. If you've watched any of my beginner's guides, you want to make sure your arena team's solid and your raid team. Well, for me currently, it's going to be one and the same. And this is my arena team. I dropped Silver Surfer and put in Wolverine. Silver Surfer, I love the character. I like him in this game. Wolverine's one of my favorites. They have equal power, and I plugged him in instead. Now, That's not for any reason in particular. This series is not going to be like, I'm not building other characters if they're not my favorite character, right? I'm going to be building other characters as well. We should have more than enough gear to do that. But I'm going to build these characters as highest gear tier, highest level as possible, as soon as possible. And I'm going to use them to try to beat some of the content. And we're going to see if and or where we get stuck. So my ultimate goal here for Arena is to be in the top 250. That should be everybody's goal anyway. And we're pushing towards that, right? Even if I had Silver Surfer in here, it wouldn't matter. I'm focusing these 5. They're my best 5 currently. And what I'm doing to stay hyper-focused and save as many resources as possible is I'm using my Arena team to beat Ultima 7.5. I'm not going to go out of my way to build any other raid teams until we move into Doom raids. And that'll be between 75 and 80. So here on my list, level 75 to 80, I'm going to prep 5 Doom raid teams, as well as prepare for Doom campaign chapter 2 through 4, as well as prepping for hard campaign requirements. And that's what I got to worry about that at level 75 through 80. I don't have to worry about that now, right? So my main focus is focusing on my Arena team, my raid team, building them up, being successful, beating Ultimus raids, kicking some ass, and being in the top 250 of Arena. Now you're going to just want to use the characters you have at your availability, out of those welcome calendars and such, following my beginner's guide type deal. And then we're going to be focused on the payday event. And there's just not a lot of other things to focus when you're first starting out farming. So I want to talk about who I'm farming and why here early on. And currently I am farming Yelena Belova. And I'm going to jump over here and I'm farming Punisher. Now I'm going to start farming tomorrow. And I have farmed some already, but I'm going to start farming Winter Soldier up. The reason that's for is because I'm going to use him for the Villains Chapter 7 Node 1. He's extra thought right now. He's not a priority, so there's days like today I did not farm him. I chose to farm gear instead. But Yelena Belova and Punisher I will be farming every day for that skill military. I prioritize that as being very important, and it's a way to get training modules, okay? Is it as necessary to everybody else? Do they feel it's as a value to focus it so hard? Probably not. But for me personally, it is. And since they're giving me Nick Fury at 3 stars, I'm not currently farming the Kree. So I'm not worried about that, right? I'm going to have Nick Fury at 3 stars. He's going to get it done. Eventually, I will be farming the Kree to start up my Nick Fury, right? It's just not a priority at the moment. Villains, I'm going to be farming this guy till he's 7 stars, Merc Lieutenant. And I'm farming Black Widow. She is one of my favorite characters of all time. She is hearted. She's one of my top 40 characters that I hearted. As well as she's skill military. I love her, and I love the lady that played her in the movies, and that's why I'm so fond of the character myself, right? Now, Nexus, we're not farming any of the characters. Again, once I get to needing to start Nick Fury, I will come after the Kree here, and I will grab that. Otherwise, I'm just using this for gear, essentially. And I love all characters. Obviously, I love Captain America, but I had to reduce it down to as few as I could, close to 5 characters from Biotech, Skill, Mystic, Mutant. As close to 5 characters as I could, which are going to be my Doom Raid teams, which are going to be my original challenge teams. And I'm going to try to focus my favorites. Obviously, I want to build everybody, but that's just not plausible, right? You can't do everything in any game. That's just games in general, right? So eventually, maybe someday we will be able to build Captain America. We'll see. As for the Wakandans, we've got to the point where they're giving us more silver promos and gold promos and a few of the events each month than you could get in 6 months to a year from the Flash event. So we're not focusing Wakandans anymore unless that's something personally you want to choose. Here on my account, I'm not doing it. I won't be farming them, period. Focusing them, none of that. Eventually, someday I might build them just for fun once I get to that point. But it's not on my priority list anytime soon. It's totally backburned. Alright. Cosmic, I'm going to be working towards Moon Knight here, and I will be farming him daily as soon as I get the node unlocked. He's on my list. He's one of my favorite characters. Hands down, I love the character. He's one of those that I have hearted. And we'll go look over who I hearted, actually. And then we're stuck. I want to say why we're stuck here is because I'm staying hyper-focused. My main focus overall currently is my Arena team, which is my raid team. And I need to farm gear for them. I also am building them up, you know what I'm saying? So I focus my character shards for the characters I need for Flash events early on, the payday and the skill military, as well as my favorites. And then I'm focusing gear to keep my Arena team as competitive, pushing towards the top 250. Once we hit the top 250, I can kind of expand a little bit, maybe level up a different Cosmic character. I'm kind of holding back until I get Cersei or Icarus, because once I get them, they're going to blow right through this. Me not farming Moon Knight instantaneously is not going to break my account. It's not saying I'm not farming my favorites. None of that. There's no standards here. I'm just going to try to stay as focused as I can on the things I talked about in the beginning of the video, right? So we will be farming Moon Knight as soon as we get to that node. Alright, so I want to go back here and kind of talk about the way I got my characters set up. I went through to each of these and I went down to like bio right here and I clicked it and I sorted through them. And I went through a process of elimination, who my favorite characters are and why. If you want to know in detail why each character is my favorite, I covered a lot of that in my last video, but it's a lot longer. Definitely go check that out. It's a great video in my personal opinion. It explains why I love characters in this game for the reasons I selected them, right? And what we come down to, I tried to get 5 bio, 5 tech, 5 mystic, 5 skill, 5 mutant. And those are going to be my Doom Raid teams, as well as they're going to be my original challenges right here. So you need 5 characters. You don't have to have 5 characters, I think. Yeah, you do. Okay. You have to have 5 characters, sorry. Required 5 bio characters. Let's go to the next one here. Mutagens. 5 mutant characters is required. So if we go in here, 5 mutant characters. And that's why I selected it. As well as for Doom Raids, you're going to want 5 mutant, 5 bio for the requirement to be Doom Raids. And that's going to take you a long time to move through all 4 iterations of Doom. You got first strike, you got Doom 1, 2, 3, and then it moves to incursion raids, right? So we got a lot of gameplay before we ever get to that point. But those teams are the teams I'm going to be ISOing up from the get-go. Those characters that I love and hearted are going to be ISO'd up and used for these original challenges. And I think that's just solving a big problem of who to invest in and spending on any other characters than what I love, okay? So we are about to unlock Kestrel, Fury, and I'll plug in these characters that I love if they're competitive in Arena. If they're going to make my team better. Currently, this is who I'm using. I dropped Silver Surfer for Wolverine. I'm currently building up Venom a little bit for the Villains campaign, so I can push further and get some other gear nodes unlocked. But as you can see, I'm still farming this gear every day. And this is more important to me than farming the Kree minions, because I'm going to get Nick Fury for free anyway, right? So I farm all this gear every day with my energy after I do my shard farms. And as you see, I need to push in a villain so I can farm more of this gear. So that's what I'm currently focusing on, right? You can kind of see how my process of elimination, my arena team's maxed. My characters are, their level and their gear is maxed. No, it's not. Well, I'm farming gear. I always farm the shards every day that I can get access to, and then I go to gear. And right now I'm spending a lot of energy on gear. I actually ran out of energy, or ran out of gear to farm, and I had energy left. So what I'm doing is building up a villain, Venom, which is one of my favorite characters of all time, and I'm pushing into villains further so I can get more gear for my arena team, which is my raid team. So we're moving down the checklist, and once those checked off, I'm top 250 of arena. My arena team's max level, max gear. I'm just held back by level cap. I will start building out my other characters that are on my favorites list for challenges and other game modes, right? But these are my favorites and who I picked out. And like I said, you can check out that other video, but it explains in detail why. But I tried to narrow it down as close as possible. We ended up with 40 characters. 41 if you include Spider-Weaver. She's phenomenal. I love the whole concept behind her. And we have the original characters in here as well. Deathpool, Vault, and Kestrel. So with Spider-Weaver, that's 4 original characters. We're going to want to build them. They're unique to the game. I'm building who I love. But essentially, these are the characters I'm going to build to the teeth. Maximum gear tier, maximum level. And I'm going to see how much of the content we can beat. This isn't saying we're not going to build other characters, obviously. We're going to build Dormammu, Doctor Doom, all of them. Love them. They're great in the game. Why would I not build them, right? But these are the characters I'm going to be using to beat Doom Raid starting out. And I'm going to max them, like I said. We're going to see what Drax can do at Gear Tier 18. You know what I mean? These are some of my favorite characters in the entirety of Marvel. And some of them are just from this game. I didn't even know of this character until I played this game. I love this character. He looks badass. Has an amazing kit. He's one of my characters. And I actually removed some of my other favorites to have him in my bio list. So he kind of, I like this character more than I like Captain America. You know what I mean? So that's what kind of my process of elimination. All right. And these are like War Machine. I think that's going to be very interesting. As you can see, I got Astonishing X-Men with Cyclops. That's going to be my mutant raid team. Cyclops will be plugged in there sometimes. We're going to see how we can do with Blob, Mystique, Gambit. You know what I mean? As we get these characters and such. Doctor Strange is one of my favorites, and he's just not that great of a character in this game, you know? Looking at other ones. Anything else I want to say here? Not really. That's kind of who I'm using. So we got 41 characters, including Spider-Weaver. And that's going to be our Doom Raid teams. That's going to be our focus for original challenges. And we're going to see how far we can take this. What's going to happen is it possible to build my favorites from the beginning? Within reason, I tried to narrow it down to 5 from each origin, right? So I picked out 40 of my favorites, and we're going to build those. And we're going to see what happens in this game. I think it's going to be interesting, exciting. Definitely like and subscribe to stay up to date when I put out videos covering this. I did spend over on the gold. I'm going to make sure to spend the 1,075,000 every day. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to make sure I'm shopping in the stores and such. If I go a little bit over, I don't care. If I go a little bit under, oopsie. But I'm going to try to hit that 1,075,000 every day. But what I'll do if I can't hit it, I've done all the shopping and I'm just waiting for the gold to reset. I'm going to come in here and invest into one of my favorite characters, one of my hearted characters. So like right now, if I needed to spend more gold, I could come in here and I can start leveling these up to spend gold to hit that 1,075,000. But I don't need to, so I'm waiting till it resets at 7 o'clock, and then I could do something like that. You know what I'm saying? And as we unlock more characters, we'll have to gear them and all that good stuff. We'll hit that 1,075,000. Real simple every day to get all those power cores from that milestone. All right, that's all I got. I mean, we're going to use common sense. We're going to stay focused on our favorites. We're going to have fun. We're going to kick some ass. Definitely tune in to see it. All right, that's all I got. Comment down below your thoughts. And when do you think I'm going to get stuck in Doom raids? Do you think I'm even going to be able to get into incursion raids? Am I going to hold my alliance back? These are things that I want to know, and I would love to know your opinions. Is my alliance going to be progressing and I can't even clear a node in Doom 2 or 3? Am I hindering my arena or my alliance? Do you think I'm going to be able to hold a top 250 spot in arena? All that good stuff and more. All right, much love. Stay healthy. I'll catch you in the next one.